This happened a few years ago, but I still think about it every time I hear something outside at night. I live in a small town in one of those quiet suburban neighborhoods where nothing ever really happens. The kind of place where people still leave their doors unlocked and neighbors wave at each other from their driveways. I always thought it was safe, until one night changed everything. It started with a sound, a faint rustling outside my bedroom window. At first, I brushed it off, probably a raccoon or some stray cat rummaging around. But then I heard it again, closer this time, a distinct shuffle of footsteps on the dry grass. I sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. My room was dimly lit by the street lamp outside, casting long shadows on the walls. Holding my breath, I turned my head toward the window. My blinds were partially open, just enough for me to see the backyard. That's when I saw him, a man, standing perfectly still in the middle of my yard. He wasn't moving. He wasn't looking at anything in particular. He was just standing there. I felt my stomach drop. He was wearing dark clothes, baggy, almost tattered looking. His face was obscured by the hood of his sweatshirt, but I could see his hands. They were pale, hanging stiffly at his sides. My heart pounded so hard I thought he might hear it. I told myself to move, to do something, but my body wouldn't cooperate. I didn't know how long I stared at him before he finally moved. His head tilted, just slightly, just enough to let me know that he was aware of me, watching me. That was enough. I scrambled out of bed and grabbed my phone with shaking hands, dialing 911 as fast as I could. But as soon as I looked back at the window, he was gone. There was no sound, no footsteps, nothing. Just an empty yard with the faint glow of the street lamp bouncing off the grass. The police arrived 10 minutes later. They searched the yard, the street, even the neighbor's property, but they found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry, just an empty backyard and my shaken voice trying to explain what I had seen. I barely slept that night. Every creak, every gust of wind sent me into a panic. The next morning, I convinced myself that maybe I had imagined it. Maybe it was just a shadow or a trick of the light. But then I checked the security camera, and my blood ran cold. The footage showed my backyard, still and quiet, just like I remembered. Then, at 3:17 a.m., movement. A figure stepping out of the shadows. It was him. The same dark hoodie, the same stiff posture. But there was something else, something I hadn't seen from my window. He wasn't just standing there. He was facing my bedroom window. And he had been there for over an hour before I even noticed him. Just standing, watching. And then, he did something that still haunts me to this day. He grinned, a slow, deliberate smile that stretched across his face, teeth white and unnaturally wide. And then, just like that, he stepped backward, melting into the darkness. The camera never caught where he went. No sign of him leaving, no indication of how he got in or out. Just a man who had been standing in my yard, watching me. I never saw him again after that. But to this day, every time I hear something outside my window, I wonder if he's back. If you ever wake up in the middle of the night and feel like someone's watching you, you might be right. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit that bell.